Hello. I hope you're all hale and healthy, doing fine at your own place. Most importantly, the reason for making this video is to take this opportunity and especially use this forum as well and thank each and every one of the team members who's been part of this wonderful journey. And I will start by thanking Chewy, who's always been leaning into things, he's never flinched for that matter. He's never flinched whenever we've asked him to come down, whenever we've asked him for support at odd hours, he's never flinched. And one thing that I really want to highlight, especially in this forum, is that his family had a situation back in January. During the last week of January, he had to fly back to his hometown, and then he realized that we were not going to make it to our deadline if he's not going to be there. So he came down in spite of having a family situation. His house was burnt down. In spite of having that situation, he came down and supported this entire project, and I cannot thank you enough, Chewy, for the efforts that you've taken. I think we've interacted a lot, but this one thing for me truly stands out of who you are as a person. Thank you very much. Bala, you are the big brother for this team who's taking care of this team right now. So I hope you're enjoying the entire journey that you're going through. It's important for me to recognize Bala because he's been in Bosch for close to almost a decade, and I'm a lateral entry. So for him to adjust with me and all, find that compatibility to whatever I say and ask him to do, I think it's important for any person to just give that lateral entry a decision making authority. I think that's amazing, and I've never seen that as well, truly aside. I have to talk about one specific person called Mandar, and I think it's important to recognize Mandar in this forum especially because he's been in this project right from day one. And Mandar is that kind of a person. When everyone thinks something is impossible, he will have a say, and he's a very calm and patient person, and he will come about with a solution that no one could think of. So you will see him very calm, listening to people, leaning into the conversations, and in the end he will come up with something that's magical, that's going to work, and everyone will be like, aha, why didn't I think of this? So that's Mandar for all of you. Sai Ram, who's been supporting Mandar, has now become one of our bankable resources, and I think he's matured over a period of time, and I would love to see him take authority, take ownership, take control of things that he's working upon. He's already doing it. But the beauty of this entire team, as I said, is that Mandar taking care of Sai and Avinash under his wing, and it's amazing to see that these two new young guns, new young bloods, now maturing in as the project is evolving as well. Avinash has always been an important player. He's a cricketer, so you will always see that competitiveness when he puts across a thought. And I've really enjoyed personally working with Avinash. I don't want to take too much time. I know that I've only been given 1 minute, but I'm sorry. I have to take this opportunity and thank every one of the team members. Jnana Prakash, the sole web developer that we've had. Of course, he's had support from other places, but I think if I have to talk about him, all that I will say is you can simply ask him that this exact feature is what I want to develop, and he will suggest. On top of it, he will also give you ideas of how simple we can keep it from a UX perspective, because he cares about the customer's journey while they are on that page, and what pages they would like to see, and in what format it should be, and how the journey of this entire customer should look like. So he's also pretty experienced in this space, and I've thoroughly enjoyed working with him. Thank you so much, Nana, again. Santosh. You should ask a person about Santosh called Raghu Babu Bandi, and he will right away tell you that Santosh is a great team player. Again, Santosh comes with a decade of experience, not just in Bosch, but from outside. But he comes with a decade of experience, and to be a team player, to just respond whenever you need, to just be there and not react and stay calm and be proactive and suggest things. He's never flinched because he's a backend guy, and typically, like any client application member would say, I think the problem is with the backend. Whenever we've gone to him, he's never flinched, and he's always said, let me look into what's causing this. And he will always reach out to people. He will always ask people to um, you know ask him for support. So thank you. I cannot thank you enough, Santosh. Raghu, our chief architect for this entire project. Without him, I don't know where we will land, because he ensured that our application is highly secure. Security is the number one thing that we all should understand, and it doesn't come naturally to all of us, because we will at some point think that this is okay, right? But he's not that kind of a person. It's important to have such kind of chief architects in your projects, and I will highly recommend Raghu to any of your or at least having a person like Raghu, because he's understands the space, and he's been in this space for almost 20 years, comes with over 2 decades of experience. He's seen all kinds of applications being developed. He's architected wonderful applications, and he is our go-to person for security. Thank you again, Raghu. The two most important people in any project are the QAs, right? Because there's always a fight that goes on between the developers and the QA. And I will have to take this opportunity to thank Sasmita, because I've seen her work at odd times with a kid. It's and this is something that we will never ask of them, but out of they understand the beauty of this team that I'm blessed with is that they just understand that yes, the team is going through a rough phase, and everyone steps up to that challenge. And I don't think that comes, it's not taught. It's definitely not taught. It has to be within, it has to come from within, that you are an important member of this project. And it's important that everyone felt that way, right? And that's why I said in the beginning that we are a close-knit team. It's important that everyone felt that way. So thank you very much, Sasmita. Pavitra, our automation expert on the QA front. So when she came in, I said, Pavitra, you also need to support us with the manual testing. And from my experience, usually automation testers, they will say, no, that's not going to work out with me. I am not really an expert in that space. But she again stepped up to the occasion, and she said she realized that Sasmita was not able to, take on the load entirely. Of course, she was working odd hours and everything, but she is getting stressed, right? So you need another person to again support you. So she stepped up to that specific occasion, and she said, it's fine. Although I'm an automation expert in this space, I will support you guys on the manual front as well. So thank you again so much, Pavitra. Data science team. Aditya, Sibashish are two important pillars for this project, because they form the core central piece. Most importantly, we have Sheila Sidappa, who is among the top 10 data scientists in India. And thank you very much, Sheila. Your expertise, your dedication, and your commitment. You're a chief data scientist, so we understand how busy you are. But within those time frame that you had, you really supported our project. And Aditya, thank you for those odd hours that you've put in. All that I've asked you to, my stupid questions sometimes. I hope I didn't annoy you too much with my questions. And Sibashish, like for any artificial intelligence model or a machine learning model, for it to see the daylight, you need a data engineer, which means you need an architect again. So we had a big data architect. His name is Sibashish, and he made these models see the daylight, right? Because most models, I don't know if you're aware or not, they don't even see the daylight, and they end up in cold storage because they're not deployable. The business doesn't understand. There's no value for the business from these models. But this business actually saw the value out of the models that we have developed, and more so with the data engineering expert that we have in the form of Sibashish. It's truly helped us immensely. I have to talk about 3 important people who have taught me what is decentralized authority. My group manager, Atal. So it's important for him to keep a tab on what's really happening, and I don't know how most managers here in Bosch are, but I think he's one of the managers that everyone should have and everyone should look up to. The simple reason being, he has decentralized authority, and because of which I've always felt that I will have to go back to him and ask for support when it's completely haywire, and he will only pitch in when it's completely haywire. It's a thing that I learned from him, that how do you decentralize authority and how do you stay calm in those situations. I think it comes with experience. So thank you, Ratan. I've learned a couple of things from you. The second most important person is Kishan Ramesh, the strategic accounts manager. And unfortunately, he also has a lot of technical background. So whenever the client escalates, right, that and we've never had that situation, but whenever the client goes to him and says, I think, Kishan, we need to pull our socks up and ramp up the speed or things of that nature, he's always come back to us and he said, you know what, I understand the development cycle, so take your own time, right? And I will take these conversations or communications with the customer. I will apprise him, and he's always taken inputs from us and he's only presented those to the customers. It's never been the other way around. It's never been like he's promised something or committed something, and it usually happens in our industry, especially with strategic account managers. But I'm truly blessed to have worked with him. Prabhakar, Puranik Prabhakar, our department head. I think he's also very proud of the work that we've done, but he's never explicitly manifested it. But I could see in my interactions that the trust that he has on the entire team. I think it's important for leaders to trust their team members that we will be able to execute a project. You will have ups and downs in any project, but to be able to stay calm, composed, and most importantly, trust your team members and empathize, right? I think he has a lot of emotional intelligence. He's a very high EQ person. So thank you very much again, Prabhakar. Thank you very much. Last but not the least, Vagish, our DQA, our data quality analyst. Like typically, all the data quality analysts in Bosch, how strict they are, and Vagish is one of the most. We've had fights about PQSR, PSR, the kind of stuff that you do at the end of every month. We've had issues and we've fought like anything, but at the end of the day, you can go to him and ask him about me, or you can come to me and ask about him, that we did this for the project, right? And he will say the same. He will recite the same. Today we're best friends in Bosch. So thank you again, Vagish, for all the learnings that you have given me, for taking me under your wing, especially keeping me posted about the different quality aspects in Bosch. It's important to understand all these things. Sorry, I forgot another member, Shanti, who's been a huge support for Bala, and she primarily came in from the automation space for QA, but she's also learned the React platform the really well, and she has supported Jnana. And I would like to thank again for that, Shanti, because it's not easy in our industry to just ask someone, what you need to do another thing that's not really your forte, and not many people would accept it. But you accepted the challenge, and you supported Jnana, because he alone will not be able to pull this entire thing. Thank you all very much once again. I think it's been a wonderful journey. Sometimes I feel that it's just the serendipity of things that have happened to this project is amazing. Serendipity is a bad word. I don't want to really use it, but I think the hard work paid off. Thank you. That's all that I have to say. And most importantly, a thing or two about this project that I have to mention for all of you. This project, if I have to explain, I'll give you an analogy for you to understand what this project is all about. Imagine going back in time and having to file your income tax reports like 15 years ago or 20 years ago. The kind of automation systems we have today, and the kind of how frictionless it is, it's quite easy. Now, it's not the same case for the farmers in Norway. The problem there was their farming window was only for 6 months, and the rest of the 6 months it's completely covered in snow, so they have no scope of farming. Whatever they have to do within the 6 months of farming window that they have, which is primarily from Jan to September, and they need to have a minimum of 3 yields, 3 harvest seasons to be able to make a profit. On top of which, they also have to come down and file a report to the Norwegian government saying that this is the land that I have, these are the fertilizers I use or pesticides I use. These are the people I employ. These are the equipments I have. These are my vehicles. So you have to keep them equipped about all of this information, and you need to compile a comprehensive report and send it to the Norwegian government. Now, after working for 16 to 17 to 18 hours a day, this is not going to happen. So that's why this entire project happened, where we pitched in and we said, we will be able to automate your entire tasks, and all that you need to do is, once you enter your field of interest, which means the fields and the farms that you're working in, we will collect the sound signatures from these agricultural ecosystem through a mobile app, and we will tell you which field you're working in through GPS. We will also tell you the kind of activities that you have performed, the vehicles that you have or deployed or used, and the equipments that you've kind of used, only through sound signatures. So that's what the project is all about. Thank you, thanks all, and thank you very much. This has truly been a journey that I've enjoyed personally, and without you, this will never ever happen. Thank you, team.